3 minutes, right before my eyes. I have no idea how he does what he does, but my dog is like forever changed.
Let me see her leash. We gotta switch the leash. This is gonna be very uncomfortable in your hands. Sit. Come. Leave it. Come. Yeah, we gotta change her leash. This here is gonna be very bad on your hand. It's very slippery and hard for you to control her. She's very responsive when she feels like someone knows what they're telling her. You can tell the moment I took the leash and I put a little bit of pressure, she's very responsive. I can bring her next to that dog and she's paying more attention to me than she's paying attention to the dog. So we gotta make sure you're fully equipped. I know you have the prong collar, but it's not fit correctly. So what we gotta do is manage her behavior. So we have to watch her body language. You see that she's anxious around other dogs. So if I don't do anything and I just hold on here, she starts to get invested into what that dog is doing. And she gets uncomfortable and then she starts to go after the other dog. If I'm paying attention to that, come. I'll keep redirecting her attention. Basically, I'm letting her know that dog is there. I got it under control. Don't worry about it. You know. And there's little techniques that you do that gets the dog's attention, communicates that to them. The rest is body language. So like right now, when I do this, leave it. When I do this and she minds me, I want to teach her that this is the best place for her to be. This is what we want from her. So there's no tension. You can reward her calmly. But if she starts to like look at the dog, almost think like she's going to take action and do something about it, I would come here, leave it. Pressure on the leash, the touch, come, redirect her attention. When she's more neutral again, you reward. But let me go ahead and switch the leash right away before we get started, because you won't be able to reinforce these things if you don't have the right tools, you know? I'll put one of my leashes. I just want something solid that you can hold on to. And then I'm going to fix a prong collar too. Okay, now just having the prong collar fit properly will make a huge difference. When I apply pressure, I want the minimum amount of pressure. So if I do this here, that was all it took to get her attention. If it's not fit correctly, you're gonna feel like you're really having to yank on the leash to get the dog's attention and makes it way less effective. Once you get the dog's attention, basically she already knows like she's safe when I'm handling her. So you can see her whole demeanor is different. She still is concerned about the dogs, but she is also minding me at the same time. When she came in with you, she's only minding the other dogs. You know, she has nothing else to pay attention to. Sugar, come. So if I take her around, watch, what I'm doing is being very on point with her. I know her triggers are the other dogs because dogs get uncomfortable with new dogs that they don't know. So if she's watching them like this because she feels like she needs to take action. She needs to defend herself. So what I have to focus on is teaching her that she can focus on me, she can be neutral in the room, and she's gonna be safe. So it's the reality for all the reactive dogs. It's all the same thing. Leave it. Good. Now, if they're just laying down and relaxing, it's going to be a lot easier for her. When they do that, see what I'm doing? I'm showing you here. The moment that dog was confrontational, she became defensive. But in public, you're going to run into dogs like that. So you're going to have to train your dog to be able to tolerate that. So what I'm going to do is if those dogs are going to be reactive, I'm going to concentrate on her. Leave it. And body language. You see how she gets all worked up? She's getting tense. Leave it. Sit. Now watch out as I get closer to that dog. Come. Leave it. Leave it. Come. Sit. Sit. Shh. So I'm teaching her, even though it's hard for her to hold herself back, this is only her first time. Each time that I do this, it will become easier for her because she knows she can go there, listen to me, and then she can walk away, nothing happens. The first time she goes and she sees dogs the way that she was acting when you brought her in, she feels like she needs to defend herself. So she's really worked up and she doesn't see anything else, you know? It's really important that we do a lot of repetition of basically bringing the dog into these situations and then teaching them that they can walk out. The more you do this, the more she learns she doesn't have to do anything. It does not matter what those dogs are doing. They can be lunging at her and she can pass right by them and with confidence because she learned she can trust you to handle the situation. Come. One more time really quickly. Leave it. Come. Come. Good girl. Now, after you get the dog under control, she's nervous, so she needs a lot of repetition before she actually becomes comfortable. What I call this is basically creating a positive environment for them, or even like a neutral environment for them around the triggers. So if there's dogs there, but she is under control like this, but she's still a little bit unsure, I bring her here. Sugar, come, come. Good girl. Now those dogs are there, and we just create a positive environment for her. I don't like to create excitement, so like no food or, yes, good job. I don't want anything like that, but just a calm place for her to be. So that she learns those dogs are here, but she doesn't have to do anything about it. She doesn't have to worry about it. And then we do a little bit of this and we walk away. So it's gonna be a lot of repetition of that before your dog can come here, lay down there, and she doesn't have any worries about the other dogs. What I have to do is teach everybody to handle the dogs the same way, because when I give her back to, she's gonna go back to acting the same way. You know, the behavior is not changed yet until we do a lot of repetition. Here, let me see him.
I didn't take the phone call off.
Oh no, the prong collar you can keep on.
I mean, the e-collar.
Oh, e-collar, yeah, let's take the e-collar off. Hey, you can let go. Leave it, sit. Leave it, leave it. So the first thing is basically getting control over the dog. This usually only takes a few seconds just to let the dog know, hey, I got this under control. When they're already worked up like this and putting up a fight, it's much harder to snap them out of it. That's why I apply a little bit more pressure. Now, the thing with understanding body language is that is so important is I need to know when to let go as well. So I took him from you, I applied a pretty good amount of pressure, but when he calms down, I have to teach him to just follow me without me having to yank on the collar or apply too much pressure, because that's going to confuse the dog and trigger them more if I do the wrong thing. So come, sit. And basically, you're putting the dog in a state of mind where he is actually thinking that he's supposed to follow you all the time. You know, if you maintain that, it's a lot easier than if you just let him get worked up and then you try to, hey, leave it. If you let him get worked up and then you try to stop him, it takes a lot more work. Come, leave it, sit. So same thing that I was doing with that dog now. Leave it, come, sit. Come, sit. So a lot of like redirecting, a lot of conditioning the dog to be following directions from me. Whenever they have all these triggers around them, you don't have a lot of time to let them think about it, because they will get triggered, they will get frustrated and become defensive and become tense, and you know, they're not gonna be able to settle down. So as soon as I bring them into an environment that has the distractions, I have to keep my dog busy. That's the best way to basically avoid having to do too much corrections, because if I keep his mind busy, he's already busy with me, he doesn't have time to focus on the distractions. If he gets really invested into everything else around him, again, it's going to take a lot more work to be able to stop him. So, but this is where it takes the most work here, is understanding, oh, I'm out in public, there's a lot of things going on around me, come on, let's go. I'm going to keep him very busy. Leave it, come. Good boy. Come. And I have to also pay attention to my surroundings. Again, if the dogs are laying down, it's a lot easier. If I see any of these dogs get up and get excitable, I have to apply put a little bit more pressure on him. And pressure doesn't mean physical pressure all the time. It can be just moving faster, telling him to do more things, keeping him busier, you know what I mean? If the dog is laying down, I can just tell him, leave it. But if she gets up, hey, leave it, come on, let's go. You know, a little bit faster, a little bit more demand on him to keep his mind busy. Sit. Same thing as I did there with her. When they get to a point that they're a little calmer, create a positive environment for them. Good job. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Come. And it can, you know, gradually build distance. You don't have to get him so close to the other dogs right now. If it does this distance right here, leave it. Leave it. Yes, good job. And you want him to be more neutral. You want him to be able to look at the dog and look away. That's how you're teaching him that he can look and look away on his own. If you block his vision, if you correct him for looking at the dog, he's going to become more afraid of dogs. He's going to think dogs are a bad idea to be around. But also, if you let him fixate on them where he's like really intense, that his intention is, if I get out of the leash, I'm going to go and attack that dog, you know? So you want more of a look where he knows the dog is there, but he knows he can walk away. And in the beginning, he's not going to be the most comfortable. He's going to be a little bit unsure. It will take some repetition before he really becomes comfortable. But again, if you're handling him like this, every single interaction, he continues to improve every day. Good boy. Come. Yes. Good. All right, I'm going to take him around one more time. Leave it. Good. Leave it. You can tell this look that I'm allowing him right now because it's basically his first time going around. So it's like not perfect. That means like he's kind of really unsure of them. That's why he's looking at them, but it's not as intense as he was. He's still kind of like, processing it. So I'm giving him credit, letting him process what's going on. If it intensifies, if you feel like he's getting a little bit more agitated, you want to apply a little more pressure, leave it to redirect his attention, And then once he feels like, again, someone else is handling this, both dogs did the same thing. They're just like ready to lay down. It's like nothing really to worry about anymore. And the other dogs in the room, the same thing. Because they all trigger for the same reasons. Like new dogs are a threat to them. So if they get up, they feel more afraid of them. If the dog pulls towards them, your dog becomes more afraid. So they're more defensive. Because he's under control, they're calmer. If he gets agitated, they get agitated. If they get agitated, he gets agitated, So it's important to know that because when you're out in public, if you have a calmer dog, it avoids a lot of problems. If your dog is hyper, he's going to get into more trouble with other dogs. Come. But you always have to be prepared because you cannot control the other person's dog either. So sometimes like this is going to happen. So here, leave it. More pressure, redirect. Come. Sit. Leave it. No, not even holding it. Leave it. Hey, leave it. Sit. Okay. Leave it. Down. Down. So then let him realize now he doesn't have to do anything about those dogs being reactive. Okay, come. Yes, good boy. And he can walk away from it. Good. Good boy. Good job. All right, let me give him back to you. This is what I wanted to practice for right now until I have worked with everybody, is when I'm going to teach you both the same thing. Just to stop this barking right now, because every time they bark, they're going to do the same thing. You're going to grab the leash, redirect your dog. Leave it, make him turn around a little bit. Leave it. Until he stops trying to go for the dog, then you relax. If you feel like he's getting invested into the other dog, before he lunges, before he barks, leave it. Do it beforehand. Don't wait for him to be pulling already towards the dog. Okay?
This is my second time coming as observer. I'm fascinated with some of the techniques that are used. It is amazing, and I think the problem with other trainers is they don't share good knowledge, which they could learn something, you could learn something, everybody could if you were willing to trade. So anybody that has a problem dog, this is the way to go. Because now this class was much different than my first class that I observed. First class you had like 2 or 3 aggressive dogs. This whole place was filled with growling, reactive dogs. Very, very impressive, and I hope the owners, continue with the work because then they'll have great dogs.
I come from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. We came to see the dog daddy. Today was probably the most dog exposure he's ever had, and he actually did really well. So, thank you very much.